I stay pretty
Um,
busy.
Okay. Okay, good.
Let me give me one more.
Okay. One more minute. We'll get started.
So, Lakita, you made it there, I see, without incident and delays, and you got all your bags and everything?
Yes. So yes, I made it without incident, but it was definitely something to experience. I was like, oh
Okay.
geez. Yeah. The commute from the airport was a little lengthy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't think either way would have been whether they had been from Baltimore or Washington, the commute was the same. So, but
Okay.
other than that, yes, I'm here.
Super.
I made
Okay.
it. Yes.
Good, good. Well, you know how to reach me if you need anything. Super.
Carly, could you send Robin a link? She
Hey,
was on
Robin,
the old link.
she's in here.
Okay,
She made it.
perfect.
Welcome, Robin.
Good morning, guys.
Morning.
Morning.
That's Rockstar,
Morning.
guys. That's Rockstar Robin.
Our very own. All right, guys. I've got 11:01. So, um, welcome. We're going to go ahead and get started. This is our second town hall for this year. The first one was with Joel and Charlie, and I see a lot of faces on this one I didn't see on that one. So hopefully it'll become a quarterly thing where we just touch base. Like everyone was saying, it's so nice to actually put faces on names and names on faces. And sometimes you stay in your little tunnel or your little bubble and see the account manager you work with only, or talk to them and hear that voice. But there's so many hands helping you get from start to finish, and that's why we're trying to do more of these kinds of things. Um, I am Carly Alford. I do all the marketing for Carver, and when I first started, I did the consultant engagement piece. So you probably recognize me from that if you do. But that was a couple of years back, and now we're rolling. And so now your account managers are your consultant engagement. But that's still one of my favorite parts of this because at the end of the day, y'all are all people trying to make a lot of money and see the world, but you're also people in these very interesting scenarios where you jump into an existing team, and that takes a special kind of person. So we always want you to feel connected to us. We always want you to feel supported by us, and that you have several different ways of reaching out to any of us if you need to. Um, and so, with that intro, I'm going to pass it back to Joy.
Well, good morning, everyone. Good morning. Some of you I know because, we interviewed together previously. I am the senior recruiting manager. So, like I said, most of you I've met, prior to you meeting your account managers. Let me just tell you one fun fact to think about me. I like to irritate all my coworkers. So, I like to keep it lively here in the office. Stuart, as you know, how we used to be back in the days when we used to work together. So, yeah, that's just a little fun fact about me. I'm gonna send it over to Jennifer.
Well, good morning, everyone. Glad that you were able to join us. I am one of the national account managers here, and I also am the extensions manager. So anytime you're extending 100%, you'll be dealing with me in that regard. One of the fun facts about me, I was trying to think, let's see. What is I am really more into college football than I thought I would ever be, and this happened over the last what 5, 6 years. So I'm just having the time of my life now. The season has started, so college football, yay yay! And NFL, my team is Kansas City Chiefs. Yay, yay. Okay,
No,
that's my fun
no,
fact.
no. Well, you should have
Joy and
said it
Ivy have
last
it.
week, right? We go have
Joy
our
and Ivy
battles.
have it, but it's fun. It's all good. It's all good.
She was saying Roll Tide when it came in.
Roll
Alabama
Tide
had an
over the
awesome
weekend.
or over the
Yes.
weekend.
Yes. That's my fun
Where
fact.
that was a close game. That was a good
That
game.
was
Yes,
a
it was a
great
very
game,
good game.
right?
Yes.
All right, who to next, Joy? Who are we tossing it to?
Let's go to Miss Rockin' Robin.
Hi guys, can y'all hear me?
Yes,
Oh,
ma'am.
okay. Hi guys. So glad to meet you guys and see all your beautiful faces. I'm Robin Coleman, and I manage all heart of house needs for Carvers. Carver does anything from housekeeping to rooms division in terms of it's just heart of house. That's basically what I do. So great to meet all you guys. I get to see some of you guys on LinkedIn, and it's just exciting to have you all as a part of our team. Well, fun fact about me that a lot of people don't know is that I'm from Savannah. And so I am from an area in Savannah considered to be the coastal empire. And I'm sure you guys have heard of that. So I enjoy crabbing and fishing is what I like to do. So great to meet all you guys. Look forward to working with you guys and just glad that you guys were able to jump on. Thanks.
All right, we're gonna take it over to Mr. David Gums.
Nice to meet all of you. One of the national account managers. Um, I don't know if it's a fun fact. I'm not a trained chef, but I would call myself an accomplished cook. I like to cook, it relaxes me. I get hugely annoyed when I go to a restaurant and you're paying, let's say, $60 for a steak and it's just unbelievably terrible. And then decide you're paying for that. It's not well put together, it's not well cooked. And I'm not a harsh critic, but just realistic. If you're going to pay $60, $70, it got to be good. So I interview a lot of chefs. I interview a lot of consultants, but I interview a lot of chefs. And you're going to have to be able to explain to me how you cook a dish, any signature dish you do from beginning to end. If you can't do that and tell me the ingredients, then it's going to be difficult for me to believe that you can do it. That's me. Love to work with the consultants. Look forward to hearing from all of you, however we can help all of you. Yeah, good company. Carver is a really good company, and we have a solid, good team here for sure. And I've worked with a lot of people from different backgrounds before. So nice to meet all of you.
And he can really cook, guys, for
All
real.
right, yes,
Oh
yes, he
yeah,
can.
Oh
the
Yes,
yeah,
he
throw
curry,
can.
down. Throw down.
the curry.
We have another Miss Elgentine. She is on a line with the client right now. So when she jumps on, we'll introduce her. But we're gonna head back to Carly right now.
And I saw that Miss
Excuse me,
Nellie
what about,
Chihuahua.
would you like me to introduce
Oh,
myself?
I am so sorry.
Oh, there you
Yes,
are,
I do.
Kathy.
There,
I'm
Kathy.
here.
I'm sorry. I didn't see you, Kathy. You was hidden.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Kathy Bordelon. You probably heard my name a lot. I've been with this company for over 10 years. First employee hired. Moved to Atlanta for 6 years, back to Mississippi. Love working with Carver. I've worked in every department that we have. I currently work in accounting and in BD. I probably have booked some of your flights at one time or another. And a fun fact about me is I love to drive fast and I love racing and drag races. And I don't like NASCAR. Going around in a circle is not my thing. I like drag racing. And I love vintage cars and car shows. So
Oh, that's a
Nice.
great fun fact. Okay. I
Sure
didn't
fooled
know
me,
that.
Kathy.
Right. You sure
Yeah,
did fool me.
yeah. I'm hearing that drag racing now. Okay, so we got to discover more things about you. That's a surprise. Oh my
All
goodness.
right.
And let me interject there. She inherited some of that car show and drag stuff from her husband.
I actually liked it before I met him. So he and I, that's our thing. We have cruising the coast coming up in Mississippi starting next week. So I can't wait. So
Perfect.
Nice.
We're gonna get you to our fearless leader, Miss Nellie Chawala.
Well, it is a pleasure to meet you all. Some of you I've worked with, some of you I haven't, but it is an absolute pleasure to have you on the call. My name is Nellie Chawala. I am the Director of Task Force. I have the privilege of working with one of the coolest people in this industry. I started off my journey. Every time I talk about it, I age myself, so I won't go too far back. But I have an operations background. Starwood proud, Marriott proud, all of that is the journey that I've come through. A fun fact. I don't know that I have a fun fact. I like to eat David's food. That is a fun fact. I can't think of one off the top of my head. I don't know. I love
How about your
Coke.
beautiful daughter? How about her?
That's
How about all the
true.
things she does?
That is true. First, I was gonna say I love Coke, even though everybody says I shouldn't because it could clean a battery, but I still drink it. But I do. I have a 16-year-old going on 37 who is my absolute world. So I would say my fun fact really is just seeing her grow, taking care of her. That's really my light every single day. So yeah, that's about me. But again, thank you so much for taking time out of your day. I know we're all in different time zones, but I thought it would be a great opportunity for you all to meet the team that you work with when you're going on these assignments so that they're not just a name on a contract, but at least now you have the face to face and you've met all of us because depending on where you're going on assignment, you would pass through each and every one of us. So, Chelsea, it's good to see you on the call. I feel like I haven't seen you since forever. Uh-oh, you're on
It's
mute.
been, can you hear me now?
Yes.
It's been a long time.
Yes, yes, it has. I see
I'm
Isaac is
hanging in
on there
there.
too. Yes, yes, yes. Isaac, welcome back. We haven't seen you in a while on an assignment. I see you might be going on something with
Yeah,
Kathy, so great to have you.
great, great. Not a problem. I appreciate the welcome.
Yes, yes, yes. Carly, sorry, I'll send it back to you.
You're totally good. So I have started a post in the Q&A section. If you look at the top bar, there's several icons. You'll see Q&A. That's a great spot to post a question, and feel free to, if you see a question you want to answer, um, that would be a great spot to chime in if you don't want to do it vocally. Otherwise, if you don't want everybody to know you're sending a question, send it through chat, and you can choose. Um, I think you can choose for it to only go to me. I haven't tried that, but I used to do this. Um, or you can go back to the email and send it that way, and I'll be checking that as well. So I did want to kick off the questions, unless someone else wants to go first. I'll open the floor. But I thought I'd kick it off with a question that I received via email. Um, so Nellie, I'll read the question, and then someone from your team, whoever you want, can
Okay.
address it. So the question we received is, how do we handle a situation that feels ethically wrong or unsafe, especially if and when the acting supervisor ignores or disregards our concern?
Mm.
That's a good one. I will say that from my experience and being a part of task force, when we get a call for a request for somebody to go out, it's normally a distressed property. So, of course, when you're going to this property, everything will not be as amazing as a property that was just well put together and everything is good. I would say that the first point of contact should be your point of contact on the property. Every single time that you go on assignment, you get an email that tells you who your point of contact will be. From there, you should connect with your BD manager, business travel manager, make sure this is what's going on the property. I don't feel safe, and let them handle it from there with the client. Because what we can do is we'll talk it through with the client, see what we need to do, and see if we need to pull you off property or if we need to still leave you on property. I think, but the key thing though is to make sure that you have the conversation with the client and then you have the conversation with your business travel manager. Joy, is Elle needing to join?
Yeah,
Oh,
something, her computer is acting up, so I'm gonna let Elle talk for a little bit. Give me one moment.
Hello, everyone.
hello, Elle.
AL.
And what am I talking about?
You're
Just
basically
introduce yourself.
introducing yourself.
I'm sorry. I'm
Just a
sorry.
quick intro.
Oh, okay. So I'm Elgentine Dudley. I am a senior national account manager. I've been with Carver from the beginning. I did task force in 2014, and I've been with Carver. I left for about a year and a half, and then I came back. An interesting fact. Did we already do the interesting fact?
Yes.
Okay, so my interesting fact is I have been a dancer and musically inclined since the fourth grade. I took modern dancing, ballet dancing, Western dancing, social dancing, and I sung in the choir. So I am definitely musical inclined and I love it. It's a great passion and a fun thing for me to do. I also love working here at Carver, putting individuals out to work in hotels all around the United States. It's a passion of mine. I've been in the hospitality industry for over 25 years, so I enjoy what I do, and
An
I do
L
what I
O.
enjoy.
I was gonna say an L also manages our affiliate program in the office when anyone is deciding to work on their own. She is the person that you would connect with.
Correct. And the affiliate program is really a good program for anyone that's interested in having their own task force company, but you don't have the funds or you have limited funds to start your own business. So you partner with us. And there is a fee, of course, and anyone can contact me and I'll go over everything with you. So it makes it great because then you partner with us and you have a backbone, so to speak. You can say, I have my own task force company and I partner with Carver, a company that's been in business for 10 years, reliable, and the money is great. You do have to find your own clients. You do have to find your own consultants. The consultants must be in good standing with Carver. So it's really a neat idea that we came up with. We're really happy and excited about sharing it with our individuals.
Perfect. Thank you, L.
Sure.
Carly, you have more questions for us?
I do have another one that has come in, so I'm going to post it here and I'll read it out loud. And this is kind of it's a two-parter, and I combined someone else's with another one. Um, so first part, what are the typical expectations in my role? How can I ensure I am meeting or exceeding those expectations? And I'm not sure if they mean from the client's point of view or the guest point of view, but that's the question. The second part that I feel like goes with this is what are the measurements of success as a Carver consultant?
Okay, I can chime in if I may, Nellie.
Absolutely.
So, what is the expectation of the consultant? Well, first and foremost, you have to have hospitality experience. You have to be wanting to go and do a job. And you have to be flexible. Anytime you're doing task force, you have to remember they don't have a permanent team member. They need help and they need it immediately. And sometimes the hotel or the resort could be in distress. So you have to go there with the set mind of you're going to help out in a crisis. Not all of the assignments are like that, but you have to keep in mind that you're going to help, and help is needed immediately and it's needed well. Um, we also expect you to maintain your behavior, dress the part and look the part because you're representing yourself, you're representing Carver, and you always want to have a professional business attire. Now, does that mean I have to go out and buy 100 suits? No, it does not. You can buy 3 suits and interchange. Uh, so the main expectations is the same as if you were to receive a permanent position in a hotel. Now you're just doing it for yourself and you're traveling to various hotels. So you want to keep that in mind. And what was the part two, Carly?
How can I ensure I'm meeting or exceeding those expectations from the
Well,
role?
Okay. So when the account manager calls you for the assignment, they're going to tell you what's needed. And first and foremost, before we call you, we're going to look at your profile, which is information, of course, that we just extract from your resume, but we put it in a profile way because it's easy, clean, and sleek for the client to read immediately. Because the client wants to know two or three basic things. Do you know the software? Can you do the job? Do you have the experience? So you're going to want to be able to do that. It's just that simple. It's not a rocket science
I
type
think
situation.
I think the
Mhm.
question is what kind of feedback, like, do they do a survey?
Oh,
Is there a, yeah,
okay.
Yes. Oh,
So what
go
kind
ahead.
of feedback would the person get being a consultant?
right.
The feedback comes back from the client. The client will call us and say, John Doe is doing an amazing job. We love him. We want to keep him forever. Or John Doe is just not working out. Now, how do you prepare yourself for that? We're not going to send you somewhere if you don't have the experience. So you have to go there with the passion, the fortitude, as if it was your own job and do the job and do it correctly and just do what's asked of you. It's really simple. It's not anything hard that you would have to do. If you're a catering sales manager and have been a catering sales manager for 10 years and we send you there, you're going to go to the assignment and be just that, a catering sales manager.
We
Thank you.
also
May I?
have so our clients also receive surveys at the end of each assignment, and they rank you from A to F. A, of course, being the greatest. And if you receive an A, I will send out an email letting you know that you've completed your assignment and the client rated you an A. If you receive anything other than an
So
A,
low.
the client will have to give a reason why they didn't rate you an A. And so moving forward, you'll receive a call from one of the managers that worked with you just to follow up and share the feedback,
Okay.
because sometimes we get your basic, Nellie was late all the time. So why are you late if you live upstairs? Or, the dress. So those are this key questions that the client is asked. And one of them is, would they want you to return? So
Right.
once they answer these key questions for us, then we're able to come back and say, hey, let's talk through this, and we go from there. Kathy, I saw your hand was up there for a second.
I was actually going to mention about the survey, and a lot of times clients do not complete that survey. So please ask your clients, to complete that survey when your assignment is completed, because that's great information for us to have. And Carly, I see that Isaac has his hand up.
Yes, I do.
Is Carly here?
I don't know what happened to her.
It should be.
I just wanted to know, can I verbally ask a question versus putting it in the message board or either chatting it?
You absolutely can.
Sure, go ahead.
Okay, in the era of hospitality and providing that hospitable service on these assignments, what do you do when you come into a situation where providing that service and being proactive, because especially if you're in a leadership role or a management role there, where that may take you past hours that you're allowed to work, or days that you're allowed to work, where it would financially cost the client more money, but yet that approval is not there, or that approval is unable to be
Oh.
obtained prior to you providing that service.
So the how do I say this? We try our best, or rather we ask that you try your best to get an approval before the time is worked. I understand sometimes it's not possible. And if I'm understanding correctly, Isaac, we're talking about you have a work week and you've exceeded a 50-hour work week, and now you're on 200 hours because the hotel needs you to do whatever it is that is needed. But then when you put in an invoice, now we're seeking approval, because of course, as you all know, everything after the 50 hours has to be approved by the client anytime you add an additional day on your invoice after the 5 days. So most of the time, again, we ask that if, say, for instance, John Doe says, Isaac, could you please work an additional day, or can you please work an additional shift because now the PM person hasn't shown up and we need you to work a double, or you need to work into overnight. We ask that you confirm that in an email. So as we discussed, I will be working an additional day because it's a monetary expectation at the end of it all. And we do sometimes have clients who say, well, I didn't authorize this, so I'm not going to approve it. And it becomes a, who allowed you to work these extra hours? So I'm always big about making sure that your contact, the point of contact that is on your documentation, is aware of everything that's happening. Sometimes your point of contact is a VP, and you get to the property and maybe you're now reporting to the chief engineer or the general manager. And so someone has to be able to paper trail with you or even text with you and say, this is what's happening. Let me see if this is Carly. This is what's happening, and we're able to. Was that Carly?
Yeah, or it could have been Miss L.
Carly sent an email that everything's shut down on her end. Okay, Nellie went on hold for some reason.
I want to add to a couple of things. Elle was talking about expectations, and I also want to address what. Oh, Nellie, here you're back. So go ahead.
Thank you. No, go ahead, David.
I also want to address a little bit what Isaac was asking, because I have right now a situation with that. So Isaac is the shortest. How I can answer that. So we have a chef at a luxury property in Florida. Very hands-on, very engaged, and he worked extra time. Obviously, if you're thinking about a chef, sous chef, anyone in a leadership role, they're not sitting and saying, well, I guess I need to work extra time. They see what needs to be done, they do it, and they have to act immediately. It tells me a lot about the manager or the management team that's there. If they don't understand that, it's suspect for me, because a kitchen runs where you need to have people making decisions right away to get the job done. You're not going to look at a banqueting event for 500 people and say, well, I can come in tomorrow and do it. You're going to get it done that day if it requires extra time. Same thing goes for a manager. We always have your back, but Nellie is right. Even if the following day you could say, hey, David, whoever, one of the national account managers that send you there, I had to work extra time because we needed to execute it A, B, C, D, E. I would say do that also. So yeah. And then Nellie, if I may, so Elle said some really important things. I'd like to add to that. It always impresses me and amazes me when a client asks for a particular consultant to come back to the property, whether it's to that particular property that we're at or they're handling 4 other properties, ask for them by name. That can only happen when you have a good attitude, when you're reliable, and you're extremely professional. And we have multiple consultants like that. You don't have to remind them to go to work. You don't have to tell them how to dress. They're there. They understand task force. They understand how to meet the objectives that were explained to them. I ask a lot of questions to my clients. Let's say I'm sending a front office manager. What needs to happen on day 1 that they start? Some people struggle with that. They can't tell me, and then I have to ask more questions. What's not happening that needs to happen, so the front office manager could understand? It's, guest service scores. We ask questions like that so we know not to only set the expectations for you, but we want to understand also, why are you asking for task force? I know it's to fill a void that you have. Help us to understand what needs to be accomplished. So, and then hopefully all of the consultants understand sometimes we don't get all the answers, but we can kind of subtract and add and say, okay, there's what needs to happen, because those clients are busy people also juggling so many different roles. But I definitely ask the questions in terms of setting the right expectations, and I emphasize that to the consultants very, very, very clear. Because there are no second chances for Carver, and certainly there are no second chances for a consultant who's not going to perform. If you're coming on an interview with me or any other of the national account managers, and it's starting out where, God forbid, you're late, that to me is a point, 50 points off already, because then you're not respecting. And of course, things that happen, but then I don't see the passion and the good attitude in you. It doesn't set a good tone for me. So I just wanted to add that.
I'm glad you mentioned that, David, because that answered my question perfectly. Because a lot of the roles that I typically take are the leadership roles, where a lot of the times your direct report is the VP or the general manager. So you're put in a position to where you need to make an operational decision, you know what I mean, at that point, right? And granted, you know, you because of your level of experience, you're making the best decision that's best for the company, that's best for the
Absolutely.
hotel. And a lot of times that may require that approval to come after the fact, but on the floor in the moment, you need to make a decision. And if you have to stay later, or you have to make sure that the restaurant closed on time, or you got to take care of
Thank
a
you.
banquet client, you know what I mean, then that what needs to happen, and not, you know, fall to the side because
Absolutely.
we ran over time, you know.
Absolutely,
So,
absolutely. It's a good measure also for our consultants. We have excellent chefs that work a lot of overtime because they're planning proactively. Like I said, they're going to say and make sure that enough work is completed timely, efficiently the day before, so they can execute properly the day after. So yeah, absolutely. Good question, Isaac.
I'm trying to see about, we're trying to assist Carly to get back on the call.
I'm back. I'm in.
Oh,
I've
there you
I've
are.
been in.
Got you.
But thanks everybody. Um,
Mhm.
have we addressed the latest question, which was how is task force demand looking?
We
Not
have
yet.
not. So how is task force demand looking? Well, seasons change. So now that the season has changed, we seem to be getting more of certain discipline requests. Like we're getting more of the food and beverage world is more of what people are looking for. But I would say because task force is an interim need, it just depends on. Is that me? Can you hear that?
I
We
hear it,
hear
but I
you.
can't figure
Okay.
it out.
I
No,
don't think it's me.
it's not.
Okay. I would say that because it is an interim need, sometimes we have more requests and sometimes it's almost like a planning stage. And so when you think about the hotel industry, we also have the different quarters, the different seasons. And so clients are planning for what they need next. How do they need to staff their hotels? So I would say the demand is still there. Sometimes it just shifts from one discipline to another, if that makes sense. Anyone want to add on? That's it, Carly.
Okay. The next question. I truly enjoy what I do and like the opportunity to expand besides the brand I know. Are there courses that I can take with Marriott, for example, so that I can open up my portfolio as a consultant?
I will say that we have been working on that in the background, so I don't have too much information to share right now. As you all know, working with different brands, you know that the brands are very, I don't want to use the word type, but I will. They're very exclusive with their training when it comes to sharing it to an outside world. So we're trying to see how we can get the training to where we can now allow other consultants to learn the Hyatt brand or the Marriott brand. But we haven't really solidified that, so I can't really speak on it for right now. the unfortunately, when as Elle and David mentioned, when the client is requesting someone, they request for us to send them someone who has knowledge of that brand, that has experienced it before, that knows the loyalty program. So once in a while, we would get a request for a client saying, hey, I don't mind training someone. And so you would get lucky to go on an assignment like that. But for the past few years, every single assignment, I believe they've requested for someone who knows it. So once we get to that point where we have the information and we can share, we definitely will be able to kind of talk about it with consultants and share that with you all. I know some brands, not really some brands, but YouTube has certain process, like for instance, opera is on YouTube. Certain disciplines you can find on YouTube, but I can't really speak to what's out there that you're allowed to look at if you're not working that particular brand. Carly?
Okay, we're ready for the next question. Oh,
Could I
go ahead, Sean.
interject right here? This is Sean.
Yes, yes.
Absolutely.
Sean, it's on you.
For Forbes and get as much information. There's some Forbes classes that you can take and get Forbes certified. This for me, when people know that I have Forbes certification, that I jump ahead of anybody. So to have that information and be able to hold that and expose it will give someone a leg up. I truly believe. Thank you.
That was helpful information. Thank you for sharing, Sean. And for anybody who couldn't hear that, he was saying there's Forbes certifications, which several of our positions, I know our couple of food and beverage managers, restaurant managers always require Forbes certification. So that's definitely worth investing in.
Absolutely.
For sure. And so another common question, and I've seen it pop up on our last one as well, is does dress code matter at all times? Does dress code matter when I'm traveling to and from assignment? Does dress code matter when I'm off duty but still on property?
David, you were shaking your head rigorously, so I'll let you take that one if you.
Okay, so I do the welcome to Carver for the consultants, and I go over that a lot. It's a stickler for me. Yes, you're traveling. You're in Carver's time, really. We made the travel arrangements for you, but you're showing up at the property. You're not going to an industrial place where you're going to go somewhere else. You're showing up at a property, particularly as a leadership position. They're going to look at you, and you may think it doesn't matter. And you want to travel comfortably, and you could travel comfortably but still look professional and presentable. Same thing, you're at a property with your days off. It's your days off, you leave the property. That's another part in the welcome to Carver's stipulations and policy about being intoxicated off the property. We can't control it. You're coming back to property. Guess who's looking at you? The GM, the guests, other staff, and it's not a good reflection for yourself, certainly not for Carver. There's no room for error with that. It's about image. I cannot understand if you're going to be at a desk and you're slouching, you're not using the guest name or last name, or you may not know, or saying sir or ma'am. There's no greeting. It's like you're doing them a favor to be there rather than, they're coming there. You're happy for them to be there. For me, as modern as we become, maybe in the next 2 years, 10 years, artificial intelligence have already probably started to check you in. That human contact with friendliness, outgoing attitude, passion, you look presentable and crisp, that goes far. Trust me. I don't think that's going to change.
And
I
if
want to
I can
interject something
add,
there.
if I can add a quick thing to that, David,
ahead,
you're
Elle.
absolutely right. And you have to know, people perceive you before you open your mouth based on how you look.
Absolutely.
So remember, I said you always want to represent yourself, Carver. So you have to look the part. And it's real
Yeah, and I
easy
want
to
to
do.
and I want to interject there. It's important that as consultants that we understand that when we're on property, we're not guests of the hotel. You know,
Correct.
our hotel, our living quarters is not an apartment. We didn't sign a lease for that. It's a part of our work and that culture. And even when we're on our days off, like today, like I'm actually on legs on property right now. Even on our day off, there's still a level of expectancy that our client and also our coworkers who we're working with on property that they're reaching for. So, wife beater t-shirts, flip-flops, and I know that Joy covers a lot of these things when
Spandex.
she's doing the onboarding. It's important that we're always look professional and we can be comfortably professional. You know what I mean? So it's just the image and making sure that we're always professional, and that we're a reflection of the best versions of ourselves, because we have to understand as consultants we're our own brand, as Nellie always talks about. So I think that's important. That's a very good question and very good thing that we brought up, is to always know that we should always be in go mode in an area of professionalism. And then the other thing too is that we have to understand when we're at a hotel, oftentimes we're on call, a lot. So we should always just be guest dressed ready. So that's what I want to add.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
Hello, guys. This is Charlie Carter. I want to chime in here because this is an area that is very, very important, when it comes to Carver. Okay, this is a no nonsense area for me. You're professional. You're out there, presenting yourself on behalf of Carver, but also your own company. I want to thank everyone for coming on the call with this town hall. And I wasn't, I was just in the background, just listening. Some great questions, some great answers, but I needed to really chime in on this. This is very important. And to our younger individuals that are in the industry that is, coming behind us, the seasoned individuals, sometimes we have to define, a lot of times we have to define what casual dress is. Okay. And defining that, I let a lot of the consultants know jeans is okay to travel in, but I know everyone's into this fashion world, but tattered jeans is not acceptable. When you're traveling, you travel in your jeans, you travel in a golf shirt with a collar. Some men may want to put on a sports jacket, which is great and very presentable. Can you travel in your tennis shoes? Fine. That's fine as well. But ask yourself when doing so, okay? Because we're your agency. How would you present yourself if this was your company? And it really is, because I call all of you all our, my miniature entrepreneurs. This is your business. How do you present yourself? Okay, that is huge. When calling Carver is known for putting out some of the most professional, well-dressed, well-presented consultants out there. And I am no nonsense. I mean, as far as coming on your call when Joy is interviewing you, I always tell them right now, I wish I see more faces. That tells me, why can't I see your face, while you're on the Zoom call? I like to see how people present themselves, so you're, please, I cannot stress enough. That would be one of the I would say 99.9% of the time when a consultant or client gets back to Carver, letting us know how that consultant arrived to that property, they grade you all, okay? And I believe in giving second chances, but that was one I will not. Okay, I will not. When you think of, if you have to ask yourself and you're in the mirror, will this work for Carver? You automatically know that it won't, especially if you have to ask yourself that question. Will this be presentable for Carver? You have to ask yourself that question. It's no. And if you have to know what an example is, look on LinkedIn and look at our business development people. Look at me, Charlie. I'm all over LinkedIn all the time. Okay. You know, I'm really serious about this. I've been in the industry 37 years. We are in the hospitality industry. That means we take care of people. We make sure that we're presenting in a very professional manner to these individuals to say, you know what, it's a joy. I'm in an industry where I want to serve those. How would you serve those? How would you like to be served? People always ask me, Charlie, what made you come into the industry? I enjoy serving because when I go out, I like to be served, you know? So understand the industry that you're in. Understand, and I'll get off of this, it has nothing to do. Presentation always has to do with attitude, like David was saying. You know, you're in the hospitality industry. How do you have a bad attitude in your hospitality industry? How do you show up late when you're in the hospitality industry? You think it's okay to show up late when you're filling in a void for this property and you're saying, oh my God, you know, Nellie or Elgentine or Robin or David or Jennifer, I've gone to this property. It was a hot mess, Kathy. Well, guess what? That's what task force is. I'm telling you right now. 99.9% of our properties are all a mess. So by the time you get there, they needed you a month ago. Your job is to go in and help this property, help the team. Helping is not going in with a bad attitude saying, oh, they worked me 14 hours. Well, that's task force. That's task force. You're not an employee. An employee mentality would say, I'm there from 3 to 11 or 7 to 3. That's an employee mentality. You guys aren't employees. You guys are professional consultants. You are task force. So when we send you in there, our clients are saying Carver is sending the best of the best. The Carver Consultants, they come in, they hit the ground and they're running. They're giving it their all. Because guys, you're only there for a limited time. You're not an employee. You don't have to, deal with the property politics and all that. And not only that, you're not there for that. Okay? So, just remember that presentation is everything. How you present yourself. You are representing Carver, okay? And you're representing yourself. Think about that. And if you can't do that, then you're just not the right fit for Carver. It's not that you're not good for task force. You just don't fit what we're looking for here at Carver. Okay? So again, thank all of you guys. And thank you, Keita, for showing up. And I see you showed your little face. You're very attractive. Thank you. So I'm gonna go back in the scene.
Okay. Okay. So I see hands raised. We've got Kathy's hand raised. We've got Joy's hand raised. Do y'all need to chime in there before we move on?
I want to chime in, piggyback on what Charlie said, because she said, look at LinkedIn. Well, when I'm picking consultants, I look at LinkedIn. And if you're using LinkedIn like Facebook or Instagram, I'm sorry, you're not, that's not professional. Selfies on LinkedIn is not professional. I don't agree with it. LinkedIn is a professional business platform. That's where we are supposed to show our business side. I keep my Facebook separate from my work because even though I really don't post a lot, that's my personal thing. Okay. LinkedIn's my professional thing. That's one thing I wanted to say. The next thing I wanted to add in is when I call a property, I may not have a task force consultant there. I may be calling for an accounting reason or anything. It really gets to me when I get the phone answered and all I hear is so-and-so property. Nobody addresses themselves. No one says, this is my name, anything. The way we are supposed to answer our phone at Carver, and if any of you call, you usually get this, is thank you for calling Carver. This is Kathy. How may I assist you? Right? that Joel Carver put that out a long time ago, and that's how we're supposed to answer the phone. Now, that's the way it should be when we call a property. And I just don't understand why we've gotten away from the professionalism in hotels. And I'm not talking about just task force consultants. I'm talking about any hotel. I have called some of the 5-star hotels, and that's the way the phone gets answered now. And it's not professional. That's I guess what I want to say. So I will lower my hand and someone else can go.
Over to Joy now.
Thank you,
So when
Kathy.
when we talk about professionalism, I want to really highly recommend that you take a look at your profiles. Number one, it is recommended that all profiles have professional-like headshots of yourself. Some of these pictures are not professional-like. What we would like for you to post, upload on your profile is a nice background with a nice collared shirt. You don't have a tie on, a blazer, a jacket, a cardigan, anything that is kind of represent yourself. But at the end of the day, like Carly and everyone else said, Charlie said, is that you're representing your own brand. The only way you're going to get selected if your profile matches the professionalism that we expect from you. So you have to have a very nice professional-like headshot of yourself. This is what we submit over to the clients for you. So if your profile you have on a t-shirt, or we're going to ask you to, send us over another picture because we can't submit that over to you. And then a lot of times, your profile as well. I know we tend to try to work it off fast. We don't have the capacity or the capability to merge our resumes into our system. However, that's why you have to take the time to write things down in detail when it comes to your profile. Like I said, you're a professional at the end of the day. If you're putting 2 words on there, don't expect to get selected by the client, because they're not looking for you just to put I work at the front desk, or I have been a GM, or GM look at resume. That's unacceptable. At the end of the day, this is a business that you're running. It's your business. So I need for everyone, to, when they take that time to look at their resumes, review it and see if this is the type of resume you would like for us to submit over to the client. And like I said, in your picture speaks volumes. This is the way they see you first. First impression speaks volumes. So this is how they see you, and then how they see you is how you're going to go onto your interview with them. They see you professional. This is what they expect. So that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Joy.
Okay. I want to go to a comment. It's not exactly a question, but it is a valid comment. And I think it's from Chelsea. She said, even though I didn't receive an A on my survey, or either they didn't even take the time to complete my survey, they still asked me to work for them permanently. But because the survey wasn't graded and completed, that reflected poorly. So that's a great kind of point. It's a large contradiction there. So do we want to talk
That
about
was
that
from
a little bit?
Carlotta.
Oh,
That was from
Carlotta. I'm sorry.
Carlotta.
You're right.
Yes.
You're right. I had to scroll back down. Yeah, Carlotta. Hey, Carlotta.
So I have noticed that a lot of clients do not answer the survey. Some do, some do not. And my suggestion, like earlier, is, let your client know they're going to receive an email when your assignment ends with a survey. Please complete that survey. And we will share the results of the survey with you. If the client says something that we feel like you need to know, we will pick up the phone and call you. I have done this. And so I would suggest talk to the client, let them know, please fill out that survey. That is very important.
Mhm. And sometimes, Carlotta, so just everybody knows, we're not just looking at the survey. We're also looking at longevity. When a client is requesting to extend you multiple times, then they're probably satisfied with the work that you're doing. So not just that, but we're looking at different avenues of what that would look like. We're looking at we're listening to conversations, because just as we check in, we send a check-in email with you, we send one to the client also. They give a thumbs up every week. They get an email from Carver asking them how you're doing, to give them that opportunity to share any feedback with you. So we are trying our best to get our clients to fill out the surveys. But just as even after a hotel stay, most of the times when you work in operations, you want the clients to complete a survey, and some guests rather will just not complete a survey. It's the same in this case. So don't get hung up so much on just the survey. There are other things also that we look at when it comes to an assignment. And I think, to piggyback a little bit on what Joy talked about when she talked about a profile, always remember that the client, whenever they come to us and request a person, we're basically taking your profile from our system and sending it to the client. So the client is getting to meet you on paper based on what you have inputted, that this is who you are and this is what you know. So because I know sometimes it could be tedious for you to look at your resume and say, Nellie, I have done 30 years of hospitality. How do I now translate this into a profile? It could be time consuming, but the less you put, that's what the client sees. So when they kick it back and say, oh, this person doesn't have Delphi FDC, and now we come back and you say, oh, no, I do. I just didn't put it on there. It almost becomes your profile isn't the best. So now the client is deciding, was this really the right person? You know what? Can I see someone else? Just to compare. So always make sure you're updating your profile after each and every assignment. Go in and update it, because when another assignment comes on, that's what we're looking for.
Awesome. Okay, we have two things coming up. The first one I want the consultants to be thinking of. I put it in the chat in the Q&A. Are there resources you wish you had from our side of the table that you don't currently have? So I want you to think about that. You can either type it in or speak to it in a minute. But another question that's come up that I think Kathy is going to take a stab at first. Any tips for mental health in this kind of role? There's loneliness sometimes. There's isolation in this role. There can be, and also just to stay sane with this travel and busyness and jumping all around. So Kathy, we'll start with you on that, and then maybe over to Jennifer. I see a hand raised, so go ahead.
So several years ago, I had the title of Task Force Concierge. I was the concierge to the Task Force Consultants. I not only booked business, I was the person that everyone called if they needed anything. Believe me, I felt like a psychologist or a therapist sometimes. I've talked people off the ledge of leaving a task force assignment because they, one thing or another was going on. People who have had things going on in their personal life that they felt like they needed to be home and they were on a task force assignment. So just know, that's what we do. If you need to talk through something, call Carver, call your BD person, call one of us. We are here for you. If we have any suggestions or, if you're anything that's going on, we're not just here for business. We're here for you personally, because when you pick up and you leave your personal lives and you go out on these task force assignments, it is stressful. For 10 years, I've listened to people talk about this, and it's very stressful. Elgentine and Jennifer have both been task force consultants. They know what this is like, and now they're your BD managers. So call one of us. Talk it through. Robin is a task force consultant. She used to call me all the time when, just to talk through things. Sometimes we just have to have a listening ear, maybe not for a comment, but just someone to listen to us vent. So that's what we're here for. So, okay, I see Elgintine's got her hand up.
Right.
Kita's got
So-
her hand up. So
Right.
go
I'd like
ahead.
to add to that. We do our best. Please keep in mind we are not professionally trained counselors, but we do our best. And I think it's up to the individual too to be part of an organization, maybe your church, a sisterhood, or someone that you can talk to that will help through the situation if there's a situation. We can recommend various things to do or give you what we feel we would do, but keep in mind we are not trained professional counselors because we don't want you to come back and say, well, LGT said I should do this and then it'll work out. We just give you what we can based on what we know from our own personal lives. But I would recommend that you have a sisterhood or a brotherhood, or there's so many organizations. Join an organization, please. Yes.
Perfect. Kata, before we come to you, let me just add, Jennifer recently did a video. We had a LinkedIn that she did on mental health. So I just wanted to hear your perspective, Jennifer.
Okay, so of course, this is very near and dear to my heart. Having been a consultant, having been out on the road, I get it. I understand that it can be overwhelming. So I just jotted down a couple of tips just to help you through. One of the first things I say is be kind to yourself. So many times we get beat up, you know, mentally, physically, in terms of, everything that's going on. Take the time to be kind to yourself. It's okay to take a step back. So be kind to yourself. The second thing I would say is stay engaged with your family and friends. Being gone for 3 weeks at a time, yes, when you're starting out, it seems all glamorous, but after a while, you miss your family and friends, and that's okay because, that's part of your network. So make sure that you stay engaged with your family and friends, phone calls, emails, whatever you need to do to stay connected with your circle, your inner circle. The other thing I would say is make sure you get rest. And of course, it depends on the discipline, but if you're in operations, we know that pulls you in so many different directions. And you'll find yourself working a whole lot of different hours, probably extra hours, but at the same time, you have got to make sure that you maintain your physical well-being as well as your mental well-being. So you need to give yourself some rest. And even though, yes, you may be asked to do some things above and beyond, do not neglect to take care of yourself. You are not geared to be a 24/7 person. You need to get your rest. Otherwise, you will find yourself burning out, and you don't want that because you're not good to yourself or anybody else. So make sure you get your rest. Um, Also, another key thing is create your boundaries. Okay. Yes, you're there to work, but you also need that time to, you know, um, decompress from the day. So create those boundaries. Turn the phone off if you need to. Go off the property if you need to, so you can maintain that balance and those boundaries. You're not geared to be 24/7. Okay, so that also ties into being kind to yourself. Okay, so maintain those boundaries, and again, because you're out on assignment, you're probably in a different city. Take that advantage, those days off to go off property and take in the city, sightsee. Just have that time that you can relax, reset, refresh, so that when you come back on duty, you're good to go. But take advantage of that time to make sure that you get the rest that you need, that you're able to reset, that you're able to focus and be able to perform the duties that you're there to do. So those are just my little tips that I would share with you. Having been there, done that, got the t-shirt and the flag, um, just to make sure that you maintain that whole well-being, mentally, physically, if you're spiritually, however, emotionally, what you need to do, just make sure that you take care of yourself. Be kind to yourself.
And I just want to add one thing to that, Jennifer, because you kind of covered a lot of stuff I wanted to say. It's also important too, family, that when your assignment is up, go home. Go home. You go home. That's one of those, because sometimes we think about connecting verbally with family, but we also sometimes need to connect physically with family. Particularly if you married. I'm not trying to be funny or nothing or disrespectful, but if you married, you need to go home and get tightened up or tighten it up. So spread the
That's
love.
right. That's right, Robin.
Those things are
Robin.
important when you're married.
Charlie, can
You
you
got to go
mute
home and
Robin, please?
season up.
Oh
The
gosh, I
next
love
thing
it.
I wanted to say is that you know uh there's a lot of the cities that we go to. There's a lot of free stuff going on. Enjoy those things. Enjoy the free things that's going on. I go ride the bike, or I skates or whatever. But but you have to disconnect. At some point on your own property, you just got to disconnect. That's all. Thanks, guys.
Okay, Kita, over to you. But you're muted. You're
You're
muted. You're
muted.
muted.
You're still on mute.
Sorry.
There you go.
You can hear me now?
Yes.
You can hear me now? Hello?
Yes.
We
Oh,
can.
okay. All right. So, let me just take my hand down. Yeah. So with that being said, as far as, the mental part of, so I guess I'm just going to speak on my experience thus far, and even with a previous experience where I did work for a management group that would cover for your travel outside of from the airport. In this case, where I'm here in Maryland and I feel kind of stuck. And for me, what would help is to be able to the city, tour the town, maybe have dinner, just kind of see. I'm in Washington. I'm near Washington. I want to see the White House if I could while I'm here, but just because that would help me just not to feel like I'm here just working, to kind of like take advantage of the fact that I'm also maybe on my days off having some leisure. You know what I mean? So that's just what it is for me, because otherwise I'm okay. I don't have a problem. If they need me around the clock, I'm here. It's okay. They're not bothering me. It's just when I'm off, it's like, okay, now what do I do? Because it's
But what
almost
part of
like I'm
Maryland are
still
you
here
in?
working. If it
What part of
does
Maryland? I'm
that
in Maryland
make
too. What part of
sense?
Maryland you in?
It does make sense.
Oh, I can't hear you now. Hello?
What part of
Can you
Maryland
hear
are you
us?
in?
Oh, okay, I can hear you now. Sorry. I think I had muted you guys, but I'm sorry. But do you follow what I'm saying as far as that aspect of things
Yeah.
that kind of helps with my
Now,
mental?
Yes.
are you saying that because your property is not located on a transport line or a travel line, or are you like in the outskirts of the city?
So that's part of it. The distance is okay. No, it's more so of just the fact that it would either be, from what I'm learning, it won't even be a reimbursement. So I'm like, okay, if I have to come out of pocket and pay for maybe, whether if it's a commute, pay for whether if it's an Uber or rental to go, just to kind of have some leisure outside of work. You know what I mean? Being here, that I'm going to be here for 3 weeks at a time, just having something other than just work. There is like, for you guys to understand as the Carver group, to say, okay, you need something outside of the work, right? Because you're already away from home.
Right. Peter,
But
Yeah.
what part of
can
Maryland
I
are you in? What part of Maryland are you in? What city are you in?
Maryland, right now I'm in Frederick. Right. I'm like an
I
hour
know
outside of
exactly where that is.
Baltimore.
okay.
Yeah,
Where?
I'm in Frederick, Maryland. It's an hour, like it's like 50 miles. It's 50, I'm sorry, 50 minutes. It's outside of Baltimore and it's
Uh-huh.
outside of Washington.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
So
you're about 20 minutes from me. So you and I need to get together, go have dinner one day next week.
I'll go
Robin,
there.
Marysville.
Right.
Robin, I just looked. She's an hour and a half away from you.
Oh, okay. I'm in Perrysville, actually.
Peter,
I
can
have, okay.
hey
We can still
Keita,
get
Robin, you're
together.
going in and out, Robin. I can barely hear you. I'm sorry.
Sorry.
hey
I mean,
Keita,
we can.
Yes.
Keita.
I'll connect with you, Keita. We can still get together. I'll come to you.
Yeah. That's
Get
the
together.
only concern for me, is just having some
Okay.
leisure outside of work.
Hey
Right.
Keita,
And
I just wanted to
Yeah.
give you a tip on that as well. What I've done in the past, and it really kind of worked out. Um, I would just ask folks on property, like things of what to do, where to go. And
Yeah.
actually from that, I actually formed a lot of friendships, still
Yeah.
going today, many years after. As a matter of fact, some of them would even take me under their wing and say, okay, what you doing this weekend? Let's go. And I'm like, okay, rolling. you know so
Yes.
but
Yeah.
you kind of have to put yourself out there a little bit, just to say, hey, give me a idea of where to go, where to hang out. And then sometimes they will even take you under the wing and say, okay, what you doing this weekend? All right, we got this going on. And they'll take you with you, take you with them. So so just be able to don't be afraid to ask a question,
Yeah. Yeah.
and you never know where that will lead. So that's just my tip on that.
Absolutely. Yes. I had that conversation actually yesterday because they were like, be careful, please don't make eye contact. Just they did give some tips on yesterday, because we did have some conversations. I had even had one of the, I think it was the sales manager who suggested, some things. And I get that part. It's just, I don't want to be a bother to the staff. Just like, hey, can you take me to Walmart? I don't know. But I get it. So I just kind of sometimes, just don't want to overwhelm them either with
Yeah.
what I'm trying to do with, I don't know, but it's okay. Yeah, that's it. That's all I got. But I got you.
That's some great conversation. And like someone made in the comment section, it's so often you feel alone in that feeling and nobody's saying it out loud. And I think even just saying it out loud is so crucial. Sometimes that's half the battle. So kudos to everyone participating. Um, so Rigney has a great question. Um, and she says, how many times can you go from temp to perm with Carver? And should the first point of contact be our account manager when a hotel wants to buy us out? Yes. There are times when a property pressures us into answering, but we don't know anything about that process. Great question.
I would say yes. The once there is a request for you to become permanent from task to perm, you do have to let the client know to reach out to your account manager and just alert your account manager that this conversation is happening. Or we can reach out to the client. I spoke with Nellie. This is what she said was happening. Talk me through what you'd like to do, because there is certain requirements that the client has to fulfill for us to be able to part with you to become a permanent employee of theirs. So the only thing I ask is when you think about there's also relationships that we've built with the client. So the constant, you become permanent, then you want to come back, and you become permanent and you want to come back. We really haven't put a number to it, but to be considerate of the clients, we ask that you at least work out a year before you can return to Carver. And so again, we haven't put a parameter to how many times can you do it, but we just ask that you at least fulfill that obligation when you choose to permanently work for this client.
Great. Anybody else want to chime in on that? Okay. I would like to, we have about 15 minutes left, give or take. I would like to revisit 2 points I've made throughout the chat. The first one being, if you aren't following, if you'll scroll up, you'll see all of our social media links in the meeting chat. If you're not following us or connected to us or whatever it is for that site, please go do that and invite people to do that and share our posts. I know a lot of times that feels like a burden. I'm not asking you to share every post, but there's a lot of things on there that are valuable to people. And I think a lot of times we just think for people, like, oh, well, nobody wants to see that, or everybody who needs to know about Carver already knows about Carver, things like that. But even if they're not going to work for us or become our client, there's still some valuable information out there that is really valuable to be shared in the industry as a whole. Also, if you find our Google listing and you would leave us a review, that would be amazing. We have some stellar ones out there already, but we're always looking to keep that fresh. And then the other thing I wanted to revisit, unless anybody has questions about our social media. Okay. is the resources. And I think Keita, I think you were speaking to that question as well in your response. Um, you know, we have a bit of a referral program here at Carver, and I think that um, is something that maybe you don't always know we have. So, like if we hire your friend and they become a consultant and they work a certain amount of days on assignment, you get money for that. There's all kinds of little things like that, but are there things in place like, what Keita was saying? Are there things in place at other companies, or are there things, are there just ways you would feel like, hopefully this is something that's making you feel more connected to Carver, and to each other. So are there other things like this that would be beneficial, is the question. And don't everybody chime in at once.
Ida, you're still on mute. Everyone is quiet today. David, welcome back. I see Varick is here too. Rosa, any of these task force companies that are offering anything that you feel would benefit us? Rodney, you're also quiet over there.
Peter was saying something, but we didn't hear her. She was on mute.
You're on mute. Rosa, you're on mute too.
Hi.
There you go. Hello.
Hi, Rosa. Completely kicked me out. I lost Wi-Fi for a minute. I did not hear anything.
Oh my goodness. Well, welcome. We were just talking about.
Okay, Hanan, raised hand.
Hi, good
Hi.
afternoon, everybody.
Hi,
I do
Hannah.
have a question. Hello. I have a question in regards to the affiliate program. I'm not sure if that's something that you all can share more about. With Carver, from my understanding, it sounds like you all offer like a concierge package of that. Is that something that you all can get into at the moment?
Well, you say a concierge package?
Well, I
I'm
don't
not-
think you all call it that, but it's more of something that you all can assist.
Okay, so what I can do, if you have a pen, you can take my number down and call me, and I can go over everything with regards to the affiliate program. I'm not sure I'm understanding the question with regards to a package.
I think she wants to know the basics. So the basics are you pay per month and we handle all your back end, your billing, your travel.
So what it is, you become a partner with Carver. There's an application fee and there is a monthly fee. We do all of your travel for you. We pay your consultants that you are responsible to get, and we pay you. So there are a lot of other variables. If you like, you can take my number and I'll be happy to go over everything. It takes about a good hour to just go over some of the basic things that we offer and what the affiliate program is all about. Do you have a pen at the moment? I'll give you my number.
I do have a pen. I'm ready whenever you are.
Okay, so I'll spell my name, Elgintine, Elgintine, first name. Last name, Dudley, Dudley. My direct line, 404-418-7508.
And it's 404-418-7508.
08.
Thank you.
Correct.
I appreciate it, Miss Dudley.
All right, so just call me and I'll be happy to go over everything with you.
And I put that info in the chat box
you.
too if y'all need to grab it.
Thank you.
Okay, from the chat box. Lately, I see postings for other positions, everything but front office. Does this mean that front office positions are declining, or is it that they are all filled by other consultants currently? And how does the coming year look for that projection?
So as I always say, it's very hard to almost project the coming year just because task force is on a need basis. When the client is in need, then we give you a call and it happens. we have um, we have the portal now. How am I trying to put this? Now that we have the portal, the
The app.
portal, thank you, the app. The app allows the consultants to see the assignments that are coming in. So, and this is where the profile is always so important because you will only see the opportunities based on the, what's the word I'm looking for, Joy? Based on
Qualification.
the qualifications
Qualifications.
and
Yeah.
yes, so whatever
And
you
then service
check,
positions.
yes, there you go. Your service positions, what you've said you could do, as well as your knowledge, your specific job knowledge is how it comes in.
And
So,
brands.
yeah,
And
thank you.
brands.
And your brand. So that's how you'll see what's coming in. So if, let's say, for instance, we have a Holiday Inn that's looking for a front desk agent, if you don't have Opera, Holiday Inn, you have Fosse, Hilton, it's not going to come up on your side. It'll come up on whoever has those qualifications. But there's some consultants who are constantly in the app. And so most of the time when we do get these opportunities, they're gone as soon as they come in. So I would say we still get them. They're still steady coming. There's still a need. There's just always a need in task force. But that's why it's so key to make sure that you're updating your profiles and everything that you know on or just every system that you know is listed so that whenever we have an opportunity, it shows up in your world.
I would like to piggyback off of that. A lot of times, I don't want you guys to think that we're not calling or we're not, we don't know that you're there. We do know that you're there, but everything is just based on client request as well as the client selection. Whoever they choose, they're going to choose the best person that reflects or benefits their property based upon their profile. So, like Nellie said, it's very important that you update your profile, put as much information that you have in your profile so you can get selected, as well as if you're bidding on these assignments. Please note that you're not the only one that's bidding on these assignments. There are multiple people bidding on the assignments as well. And we're going to pick the best person that fits that client's needs. So, like I said, make sure you just put all that meaty, good information from your resume into your profile so it's easier for selected. And we can give the client options as well to, for you to kind of showcase yourself and for you to get selected for an assignment.
Thank you, Joy.
I think something else that people might tend to forget is that Carver only fills roles at a certain managerial level and above. So if you see lower level roles than the other companies are filling or the other consultants have received, and that also might be the reason because we you know we don't we provide consultants at a certain level and above. Any other questions? So session has been so awesome, and I'm so grateful to have seen some faces that have the names I've heard so many times, and hope this has been beneficial to you all. As marketer and social media person, if any of you have an interest in doing some point of view videos and some on the job media for me, please get in touch with me and let me know that because I'm always looking for that. I do a lot of begging these hardworking, busy people to put me in contact with you. But if you want to go around them and come straight to me, that would be just fine. So yeah, if you're interested in doing that, or if you already are doing that, I would love to see it. Also share it, like go follow Carver from those profiles so that Carver will follow you and will repost it and things like that. So it'll build your audience, it'll build ours. But the Carver name is a strong one. It's their reputation precedes us. There's a lot of people out there that try to do it at our level that just don't ever quite get there. So being tied to us on LinkedIn and Facebook and TikTok even, I mean, those are good ties. So definitely, I'll put my email and phone number back in the chat box for you if you're interested in reaching out. Anybody have any other questions? I haven't seen any pop up, but that doesn't mean you don't have any.
Hey, Carly.
Yes.
Can I take 2 minutes to just go through or explain the extension process?
Oh, great use of our time. Yeah. Go
Okay.
right.
So for the consultants, when you're out on assignment, whether it's 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever, 8 days prior to your end date, you're going to receive an automated email from the extensions team asking if you're going to be able to extend. So the process starts with the consultant. You'll get the email and it'll ask you if you can extend. In that email, you also have the opportunity to put in any days off that you will be needing to take over the course of the next 3 weeks. If you have a doctor's appointment, if you need to, be home for a couple more days, than your regular days home, put that information in. Once you submit that, that email also is generated over to the client. They will be able to see what days you're looking to take off. So that way they can make the determination if they want to extend. And if so, they see what your plans are so they can work around it as well. Once they submit their response, whether yes or no, it will come to the extensions team. But it is imperative that when you get that email that you respond as quickly as possible, because then that way the client can make a determination and then we will know what the plans are. Because a lot of times the consultants they'll call, well, I need to go home, I need to do this. Yes, but you're holding up the process. So the process starts with you. Once you send that email or once you respond to that email, it goes to the client. Then the client can respond. Then we can go ahead and know if you're extending or not. And if you are extending, then our travel team can go ahead and get proactive to making those travel plans. But it is imperative that you do that in a timely fashion. And again, if you have any questions or if you're not sure about something, please reach out to the extensions team, which happens to be me. And I'll be more than happy to navigate or help you navigate through that system. Okay. Okay.
All right. Varick has his hand raised.
Yes, this question is directed to you, Miss Jennifer.
Yes, sir.
So I am at a property where it's hard for me to determine my days and times off because of the hotel situation. So a lot of times I'll have to try to get approvals for while I'm in the actual contract. How would you suggest that I go forward with that? Me not knowing what times I'll be able to have off because of the property demands.
Okay. So usually the role that you're in is, if I'm not mistaken, you're usually in the role of GM, correct?
That is correct. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So pretty much I would say because of the role that you have, you can pretty much navigate, or easily navigate based on the needs of the hotel and what your personal scheduling to say, hey, okay, I know this is going on or that's probably coming up. So I can schedule myself, these days off. Just give me the best estimate or guesstimate that you can at the time of the extension, and then we can take it from there. But just give, as long as you can give me an idea and just think, in terms of planning, maximum extension would be a 3-week extension. So going to that mindset, saying, okay, anticipating the next 3 weeks, I'll need to go home, or be home for the next, 3 to 4 days. Then that way you can put that in there. Now, I know things can change and that happens. That's okay. We'll deal with that, but just give me the best estimate at that time, and then we can take it from there.
Thank you, ma'am.
Perfect.
You're
Okay,
welcome.
we're down to 3 minutes. And Joy has asked the consultants, what are some of your best practices to be successful while on assignment? Anybody have any tips and tricks? Or something you always do, something you do when you check in, something you do when you check out? Yes,
Rignee's
Rigney.
hand is up. Rigney, you're on mute.
Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I have Keith with me.
Oh, hello, Keith Caldwell.
My children, Keith. My children. Oh my God.
You
Trying
might as
to
well come
figure
back.
out why
camera
it
keeps
said
turning
Ricky
off.
Dickinson and then it had Keith at
There
the
you
end. I
go.
was gonna say, well, who was Keith?
I was trying to
Yeah.
figure that out too. So
Those are my
y'all
children.
tag teaming us
Those are
there.
my children on assignment. Yes. Go
All right, so
ahead.
I would say for my best practice would be honestly to develop your own routine when you go to different properties. Because granted, you know that you're there to work, you know that you're gonna have to fulfill a job, so you know that being task force, the properties are gonna change for you. So you have to have your own system already developed prior to you getting to those properties, and that way when they give you your role and your assignments and the checklist or the things that they expect from you, it's just extra added into what you already know that you're there to do.
I saw a comment from Keith that said, stay humble. I think that's such good advice in every aspect of everyone's life, consultant or not. Stay humble and don't get too ahead of yourself
Mm-hmm.
because somebody is always there to check you. Am I right?
Yes, they are.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So Curtis also chimed in, introduce yourself to all staff. So true. Goes back to being humble. There's nobody that's not important at that property. Um, and make sure to say farewell upon your departure. Yeah, because you never know when you're going to cross paths again. I mean, look at this. There's two consultants sitting together. We had no idea. Like, as busy as we are, it's hard to keep up. But remain welcoming and approachable to all. That's just such good advice. Yeah. Okay, and we have another one from, is it just Don? I connected with other task force agents for dinner and we bonded and were able to support each other. See, it's a network within a network. Um, it made a huge difference in my stay and it helped me stay positive. Um, okay, David Morrison says, go in not wanting to make changes. Crucial, amazing. But observe, support, and demonstrate practices that could make the operation more effective and productive. Yeah, because you go in as a know-it-all, then that's what you're going to be, labeled as. If the leaders are good leaders, they'll notice you and seek your guidance implementing the changes in the SOPs. Such incredible advice. Incredible.
Yes. Yes.
And just so you know, we are at time. I hate this because this is always how it goes. You get going right at the end. But this is recorded and the transcript will be available. So we're gonna send that out to everybody that registered. Maybe just go ahead and send it out to all of our active consultants too. So you can refer back. Last comment, I was always taught to lead instead of manage. As a food and beverage manager, I have found I can't really make any permanent changes to how the department operates, and you're not technically supposed to, right? So instead, I focus on assisting the staff as best I can and finding ways to streamline their jobs. While we are working, I'm always finding something I can be doing, even if it's just bussing a table. Stay humble. That's it. Stay humble. Bust the table. Grab somebody at the front desk. Grab a bag. Like that's the key to success, no matter who you are in any role. Come in ready to work, not just from the desk. Yeah. Amen. Like be a jack of all trades. And yeah, don't change you. Be infectious with your best self, and others will gravitate in kind. Stay professional. These are
Yeah.
awesome, awesome things. Like I want to put them down in a
Yes.
little book and hand them to my 5-year-old daughter. Like this is the path to success.
That's all I'm saying. We need to, these newfangled babies that's coming into this industry, we need to kind of mold them. So this is all great information.
Yes.
Great information from them. Don't be surprised if Carly has a little be humble or some type of little episode on LinkedIn with all your
Oh
remarks on
yeah.
there. Cause I think
Oh
that's a
yeah.
good information to get the new kiddies coming into this industry. We
It
have to
is. It's
mold them. We
not for
have
the
to
weak.
groom them. Right.
It's not for the weak, but it is for the amazing. Y'all, all of you are amazing. And wear comfortable
Wear
shoes.
comfortable shoes.
This is
We'll end it on
wonderful.
that. We'll end it on that. All right. So kudos to all of you. Um, Anybody else need to chime in before we end the meeting?
Oh,
Kita, did
sounds
you
That's
ready?
great.
This was great.
I commented, don't ever say that's not my job.
Oh,
That's right.
Always be ready to do whatever is asked to be done. It
That's
will
it.
go above and beyond.
definitely.
That's it. All right. Thanks, guys. Safe
Thank you.
travels.
It's good
Stay
meeting
safe where you are.
everyone.
Stay
Have a great
well.
Thank
afternoon.
you all.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye.